Content warning. On this podcast, we discuss sensitive issues, including but not limited to swearing, tasteless jokes, situations of a sexual nature, and drug use. This podcast is not intended for children. Hello, and welcome to BiblioWrecks, the podcast where we read really bad books and then we tell you all about it. I'm Bugs.
And I'm Bam Bam.
And we are doing an old book today.
Yeah, almost the oldest book we've ever done on the podcast. So this one isn't the oldest one, but it's very close. Shadow Builder by Bram Stoker was 16 years earlier than this one, and this one was from 1897.
Nice. So it's in the public domain.
Yeah, very old. This comes as a suggestion from Nina Sir 3902 on YouTube. So thanks, Nina.
Nice.
So, Bram Stoker's Shadow Builder was a sweet short story that really showed off Stoker's ability to set a mood with his prose. Mm-hmm. This book might be the polar opposite of that.
Oh, no.
The prose in this are not purple. They're blue.
Okay.
And by that, I mean there are so many goddamn prose in this book that you're suffocating under them.
Oh.
Is why blue.
Right.
This book is written by Miss Amanda McKittrick Ross. Mm-hmm. And it was commissioned by her husband as a 10th wedding anniversary gift.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Write me this story for my anniversary as a present?
Pretty much. I don't know if he gave her a specific scenario he wanted her to write about.
Okay.
As far as I can tell, neither was anyone else, but yeah, he asked her to write him a book for their 10th wedding anniversary.
Interesting. What's the name of the book we're doing?
Oh,
that kind of key detail.
Yeah, I'm way out of order. It's Irene, Iddesleigh by Mrs. Amanda McKittrick Ross.
Okay.
Some of the different pronunciations I've heard say it's Irene Iddesleigh, which
I think most people would say Irene.
Yeah, definitely to my American ear, it definitely sounds right to say Irene, because this is a English story. And
okay, the author's English.
Yeah, and I listened to it on audiobook, and most of the people that were reading it pronounced it Irene.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but that sounds weird and wrong to me, so I'm going to just say Irene.
Okay.
So time has not been very kind to this book. Even at the time, everyone thought this was an overwritten bore. In my experience, it's so overwritten and boring that it loops back around and starts being interesting again.
Oh, no.
It is spectacular in its ability to bore so thoroughly, as if this is some primordial magic that when you absorb the words written as such, you fall into a chthonic slumber only elder creatures of lore are capable of.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to be very interested in how you make boring interesting.
I mean, to me, in my experience, I may not express it in the way.
Okay.
I will do my best, though.
Yeah.
I think I can do it.
Okay.
We begin with this. Sympathize with me, indeed. Ah, no. Cast your sympathy on the chill waves of troubled waters. Fling it on the oases of futurity. Dash it against the rock of gossip, or better still, allow it to remain within the false and faithless bosom of buried scorn. Such were a few remarks of Irene as she paced the beach of limited freedom. Alone and unprotected.
She deserves to be alone.
Sympathy can wound the breast of trodden patience. It hath no rival to ensure the feelings we possess, save that of sorrow. So what do you think of that?
I have no idea what any of that means.
Yeah, you sure don't.
This is one of those books that I would have to read several times and then sit down and cut out with a pen, mark through the words that are irrelevant to find out what in God's name is she talking about.
That's exactly what you have
sympathy?
to do.
We're talking about sympathy.
Yes. Sympathize with me, Irene, presumably.
But not for any particular reason. We're just doing emotion.
Has not told you yet, because this first chapter, it's really weird. It doesn't tell you when this is, but this chapter has to be in the future at some nebulous point, but not at the end of the book. Somewhere a little bit before the end, I think.
God, we're doing Bird Box where we have no idea where we are in time.
Yeah, I get, but it's just for this one chapter. And it doesn't...
That's worse!
Because at this point, the mansion that this book spends 8 or 9 paragraphs describing just the outside of it, which isn't important because none of the events in the story take place outside of the mansion.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but we still spend 8 paragraphs describing the outside of it. Right. So you know how beautiful and eloquent it is, even though it's not important, except to heap praise onto the owner.
Oh.
Which we do a lot.
Oh, okay.
But at this point, the mansion is owned by Hugh Dunfern, which is Irene's son, which, once we get to chapter 2, does not exist yet.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
But the story tells you that the mansion's owned by Hugh Dunfern, but then in chapter 2, it's owned by John Dunfern.
Presumably the father.
The father of Hugh Dunfern, yes. It does tell you that John is Hugh's father.
Okay.
But why it does it like this, I don't know.
Right.
So I'm going to go a little bit harder on the first chapter just to kind of show a lot of the emblematic problems of the book as a whole.
Right.
And then just kind of skim over the rest of it because, quote, and this is while it's describing the outside of the mansion.
We're describing the mansion.
Yeah.
And this woman is on the beach? Or is she describing the mansion?
Well, it might be a metaphorical beach. I'm not sure because it's the beach of limited freedom.
Which, to me, sounds really, really oxymoronic.
Maybe.
Because, at the beach, you see the whole ocean, which is, freedom and vast distances.
Yeah. There are a lot of the X of Y statements in this book.
She can't just name anything the beach. It has to be the beach.
Well, also, everything is a metaphor. It's going to be the pen of revenge. And there's a part where there's 8 in a row that I tell about at the end of the story, but there's a lot of them.
She might not be on a beach, but we are at a mansion.
Right.
Okay.
We're at the very least describing the outside of a mansion. I don't know where Irene is.
Okay.
Except metaphorically on the beach of limited freedom.
Right.
Quote, beautiful, however, as Dunfern Mansion may seem to the anxious eye of the beholder, yet it is not altogether free of mystery.
Beautiful and mysterious. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. But we only ever find out, about one of the mysteries about the mansion because it starts talking about all the rooms that people aren't allowed to go into because all the doors are locked. Mm-hmm. And we just only find out about the one, but the entire thing is mysterious and just painting this picture. And anytime anyone ever asks about it, the matter is always treated with silence. Quote, all that can now be done is merely to allow the thought to dwindle into bleak oblivion until aroused to that standard of disclosure which defies hindrance. What do you think that one means?
We can't talk about it until we're allowed to talk about it.
Not even that. It's you forget about it until you remember it. That's all that sentence is. Dwindle into bleak oblivion, which just means you forget about it and then it comes back up when you think about it again.
Wow, I walked into this room and forgot what I came in here for. How mysterious.
It's the sentence.
It's that, but in very, very dense language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's every sentence of this. It's the most possible amount of words to say the littlest amount of information. And within the venerable walls surrounding this erection of amazement, talking about the building.
Well, that word wasn't commonly used
I
in the 1800s.
But it's still funny to me.
Dick, okay.
Then we start talking about the plants. The richest vineries, the most elegant ferns, the daintiest conservatories, the flowers and plants of almost every clime in abundance.
Okay. So it means we have a greenhouse and a hothouse, and we have plants from all across the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But also we never spend any time outside, so...
Ah, darn.
This is how the description of the house is introduced. Quote, "The entrance to this beautiful home of Sir Hugh Dunfern, the present owner, is planned on most antique principles. Nothing save an enormous iron gate meets the gaze of the visitor, who at first is inclined to think that all public rumors relative to its magnificence are only the utterances of the beautiful and idle, nor until its winding paths of finest pebble, studded here and there with stones of unpolished granite, could the mind for a moment conceive or entertain the faintest idea of its quaint grandeur."
It's a long and winding driveway that you cannot see the house from the gate.
I guess, but that was all one sentence.
Yes.
Holy shit. This lady has the run-onest of run-on sentences.
Which was the style of the time, but it's a little excessive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the whole book is pretty much written like that. Mm-hmm. And it drives me personally insane. It's like if Jane Austen were stripped of, like, anything interesting. So I'm not sure why this chapter is set up this way at all. All that gets established is Irene is sad, and there's a mansion that's pretty.
That's what the first chapter tells us.
Also, Hugh's dad is John.
Okay.
That's pretty much all that's... Well,
is this
Hugh's dad is John
Irene's
and Irene.
husband?
Eventually, she will be, yes.
Okay.
So that takes care of chapter 1. Now chapter 2, where we properly start the story, where we explain to death what this man's office looks like and introduce Sir John Dunfern. Because, you know, you have to know that his office has a lot of mirrors because, you know, they didn't have lights. And it was very dark in there because it's on the wrong side of the house. Even though it's his mansion, he could pick whatever goddamn room he wanted.
Is it called a growlery?
No, it doesn't get called that in this.
Oh, okay.
But there's a lot of mirrors in that room, and he spends most of his time alone in that room, just doing studies and being a man of industry.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And now he's 40 and alone.
Oh, no.
Quote, "Though a man of 40 summers, he never yet had entertained the thought of yielding up his bacheloric ideas to supplance them with others, which eventually should coincide with those of a different sex. In fact, he never had bestowed a thought on changing his habits and manner of living, nor until fully realizing his position of birthright, that had been treasured by his ancestors for such a lengthened period, and which, sooner or later, must pass into strangers' hands, did the thought ever occur to him of entering into the League of the Blessed." Oh, God.
He hasn't thought much about women.
Yes. Never thought about getting married until he's like, oh, I'm 40 now. I might die relatively soon.
And
Someone's going to own this.
Aside from my child could own this property.
And we can't have
produce
that.
a child.
So, you know, this guy's not wanting to get... He doesn't want to get married at all, it seems, because
he
it
only
seems...
wants an heir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only reason he's going to look for a wife at all.
Okay.
And just by the way the story is being told, it seems like he just doesn't like women. Just at all.
Right. Well, he sounds kind of antisocial.
Yeah.
In general.
Also, I think it was just like a standard at the time that, you know, you were considered a very good man to be like a captain of industry, which we never find out what he does, but he's a captain of industry for sure. Right. So yeah, he's a bachelor and only recently thought about getting married, only begrudgingly looking for a wife, not looking for companionship, but just, you know, doing this as a matter of property management.
Yep. Yep.
My true feeling about this author is that she loves describing scenery. She paints a vividly clear picture of what things look like ad nauseum, but those scenes get ruined because people are in them and they talk.
So she should be a landscape painter.
Of words, yes.
Of words.
So the vast majority where people are talking, instead of giving us any dialogue of the conversation, it's described to us. They talked about X and came to Y conclusion, and that's how people talk for most of it.
Oh God, that's the worst.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but it's so much worse when we actually do get dialogue, though.
Oh, no.
It's actually worse. I'd much rather just have the conversation described than...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, John's going to start looking for a wife, and one of his neighbors sends him an invite to a ball. And this is Irene's adopted mother.
Okay. Irene was stepmother, or she was adopted?
Adopted mother.
Okay.
So, John is invited to this ball. It seems like the adopted mother is just inviting him as an option in order to marry off her daughter.
Yeah, that's how it worked at the time.
Which, now that he's made himself available, he's supposedly a very eligible bachelor, I guess.
Right.
But this is seemingly against Irene's will.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sucks.
She wants to, we find out who she wants to marry later, but she does not want to marry John under any capacity, but her mother is forcing her to, just because it's a
better match.
Yeah.
Is this semi-autobiographical?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because her husband's name isn't John, and this isn't, Irene isn't the author's name, but I don't know. There's very little information about this book because it was written in 1897 and no one gave a shit about it.
So we don't know about her family or her life or anything?
Not that I could find. That information might be out there. The most that's really said about her that I could find is that Mark Twain commented on this book.
Oh, interesting. Because, like, imagining this as semi-autobiographical was making me very sad. Yeah. So finding out that wasn't necessarily what happened is a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case because at the end of the book, Irene dies, and I presume at the end, after writing this, the author did not die because she commented back on other people's comments about her book.
Right.
So, yeah, Irene's a woman in the 1890s, so her opinion on things doesn't matter. We get an unceasing description of Irene's parents' castles, just like we got of the Dunfern mansion. Gothic structure, velvety walls, a painted picture by the artist Pedo, though not what the painting was of. But that's not important. What's important is that the artist Pedo painted this picture.
That's what his name is?
That's what his name is. P-E-T-O.
Ah, Pedo.
Yeah, not Pedo.
Because that's what it sounded like you said.
It does sound what I said. Yeah, it doesn't matter what the actual scene looks like or what the painting is, because all that matters is that we name drop a famous artist, which this is a real artist that existed around the time.
Right. It's just to establish their wealth and status in society.
Yeah. So it's really inconsistent. She really likes describing the scene, but nothing that is really visually important. So it's just describing the scene so that you know that they're rich and fancy. And it's very important to this author that people are rich and fancy. Yeah, yeah. So John is at this ball. He's talking to people that he knows at the ball because he's kind of, what's the word?
Like a recluse? Or...
He's kind of an introvert.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he doesn't really like talking to people he doesn't already know.
Yeah, which is why it's hard to find a woman.
Yeah, hard to find a woman when you don't leave your mansion.
Or talk to anyone that you don't know.
That is until Irene enters the room. Quote, "How the look of jealousy combined with sarcasm substituted those of love and bashfulness. How the titter of tainted mockery rang throughout the entire apartment, and could hardly fail to catch the ear of her whose queenly appearance occasioned it. There she stood, an image of perfection and divine beauty, attired in a robe of richest snowy tint, revealed here and there by a few tiny sprigs of the most dainty maidenhair fern, without any ornaments whatever, save a diamond necklet of famous sparkling luster and priceless value."
Okay, so she's only wearing her outfit and a single necklace. Okay.
But no ornaments, except for the priceless diamond that she's wearing.
Yes.
So John, upon seeing her, falls head over heels, and they begin their courtship. But Irene cannot fucking stand John.
Oh, no.
And is only doing this because her mother is making her.
Right.
But the story seems out to make her the evilest of evil women.
Irene?
Irene.
For not liking him?
Yep.
What?
Irene is the protagonist, but she is not the hero of the story.
Huh.
Irene is the bad guy.
Then she would be the antagonist, and he would be the protagonist. It does sound like we're establishing him as a character really before her.
Yeah.
She was in the first chapter, but we're learning a lot more about him than we're learning about her.
Yeah, and we really don't learn a whole lot about her, really.
So I think he might be the protagonist.
Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah, it's kind of hard to say exactly.
Also, this was written for a man.
Yeah.
As a present. So having a woman woman as the main character, even if her name is the title of the book.
Yeah. You'd see how I'd get confused with that.
Yes, yes.
But as far as, like, coverage throughout the entire book, it definitely covers Irene a lot more.
Okay.
I think. It could be a toss-up, but I think it does cover Irene more.
And how bitchy she is to her husband, who she should love.
Yep, pretty much. It definitely paints John in a better light, but I think we cover Irene more. Maybe.
Interesting. Okay.
So, here's to show how evil and conniving she is. Quote, Irene was an accomplished and clever girl, and well able to sustain her hidden regard throughout for one who, for years previous, had been endeavoring to remove the great barrier of position which blocked his path and approach towards her affection. As yet her parentage was totally unknown to Sir John. Still, he felt it must not have belonged to the rude and ridiculous, since she possessed all the qualities outwardly and features of a highly refined race. And, when only a girl of 11, when the worthy hand of benevolence, friendship, and love clutched the tiny fingers of absolute want, there visibly seemed nothing lacking in appearance, manner, or education to solicit the pity or suspicion of her charitable guardian and protector. Jesus, this is I hate reading this.
They met when she was 11, or she's 11 now?
She's definitely not 11 now.
Okay.
It could be saying that they met when she was 11.
And he didn't really notice her then?
Or it's saying that she was 11 when she got adopted.
That was the other thought I had.
Yeah.
That...
I think that's what it's supposed to mean, but I'm not entirely sure.
Right.
Because at this point, Irene is 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's had time to be adopted and adjust to this social circle.
Yeah.
And have all of the graces necessary to be this gentleman's wife.
So we never actually get an actual motive from Irene's head as to why she's going along with this. Whether it's for nefarious reasons or just because she's being forced by her mother. We're given, like, nothing as far as her intention. Just the veiled description that she does not like John, which I would understand why she doesn't. John is set in his bachelor ways, and he's 40 and she's 19. And he essentially has to be handheld through, like, every interaction by Irene's mother, so he's kind of just a 40-year-old baby man. Despite all this, their marriage is arranged for August.
Yeah, poor Irene.
Yeah, but the month before it happens, the seed of jealousy is planted in John while at a party.
Other people notice she's beautiful?
One person.
Okay.
Quote. God, I hate the quotes.
I can read them for you.
I'll lose my place if we do that.
Okay.
Quote, Sir John wandered in and out through the numerous windings of sweetest fragrance, until arriving at the farthest corner, or rather darkened shade, on a wire couch, beheld the object of his pursuit, because he's looking for Irene, in closest conversation with her tutor. Can it be possible? Why, I have been searching for you for some time past, and have accidentally found you at last. I don't know whether she meant it to rhyme, but...
That is very funny.
It's kind of funny.
That is very funny.
So Irene is snogging with her tutor.
Oh, she's kissing him?
Well, she's just talking to him in deep conversation.
Oh, okay.
But they're, like, in a dark and shady corner doing it.
Right.
So,
they're having a private conversation, and that is not acceptable.
Yeah. So Irene jumps up and rejoins her fiancé, apologizing profusely.
How dare you have a minute to yourself.
Yeah.
To talk to someone you want to talk to.
So John is immediately jealous. And a week later, he's walking somewhere in the garden. Or rather, walking in some garden. We don't know whose garden. It could be his. It could be Irene's family's garden. But we don't know.
Okay.
It's just a random garden. And in this random garden is a cottage.
Okay.
And we find out this cottage is owned by Irene and her tutor. Not right now, we don't. We find that out much later. But I just don't understand what the geography here is.
Right.
Because John is just wandering around someone's garden and comes upon Irene's secret house.
Okay.
And when he's coming on it, someone flees through the woods because presumably Irene saw him through a window or something.
Okay.
And he just comes in. And Irene's just standing there, and she's just like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, I didn't know you had another house. That's cool.
I'm guessing this is on the property of her family. That's what
that
it
would make
like.
the most sense.
Yeah, like it's possibly a gardener's cottage or a groundskeeper's cottage, something like that before.
But Irene and her tutor literally own this cottage, though, because later they sell it for money.
How can they both own a property together if they're not married?
No idea.
Huh. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But John just totally accepts that Irene owns this house by herself.
Oh, okay.
No follow-up questions. You own this house. Good deal. And then he just talks at her for a fucking eternity.
Oh, no.
Quote, the sole object of my visit, my dear Irene, even though he didn't know who lived here, and he was just walking by. Here, Sir John clasped her tender hand in his. Tonight is to elicit from you a matter that lately has cast a shadowy gloom over my anticipated brightness and cheerful future. I am not one of those mortals who takes offense at trifles. Neither am I a man of hasty temper or words quite the contrary, I assure you. But it has, fortunately or unfortunately, been probably a failing amongst my ancestors to court sensitiveness in its minutest detail, and I must acknowledge I stray not from any of them in this particular point. That's about a third of what he actually says.
Is he going to say he was jealous of her tutor?
Yeah, that's basically what he's saying.
Okay.
Yeah, he says, and also he's basically saying, hey, you've been ignoring me and my messages, because he sends her a message that went to her like last night and she never replied back to him. So he's basically saying, hey, you've been ignoring my messages and I'm not mad, but like, what's going on?
She left him on red.
She left him on red. Yeah. Quote, Irene began to consider seriously the earnestness that accompanied the words of Sir John, knowing well she had been guilty, grossly guilty, of the charges with which he impeached her, and which were mixed with childlike simplicity, descriptive only of a world-famed scholar, world-famed bachelor. She pondered whether or not honesty should take the place of deceit, too often practiced in women, and concluded to adopt the latter weapon of defense.
Should she admit she likes her tutor?
Pretty much.
Yep.
Also, the last two things that I read are just trying to show like how good of a person John is. He's gentle, he's kind, he's not yelling at her or anything like that, right?
He has delicate sensibilities, like his ancestors.
You know, as only rich people are capable of.
And she immediately thinks about lying because she's a woman.
And a poor... in her bones, she's a poor woman.
Oh, really?
So there's a little bit of a classism thing going on.
Yeah.
But
not surprising.
It's not perfectly consistent, but there's something like beating around that bush. Mm-hmm. So basically what she says is, sorry about that. I hadn't considered your feelings. I've never gotten married before, and I'm a bit nervous, is basically her reply.
Yeah.
To explain away.
Also, she's 19.
Yeah.
She just stopped being a child. Mm-hmm. She's very young.
Yeah.
Ugh. And of course, no one wants her to marry the tutor because he's poor and he's not upper crust.
Yep, pretty much. So John feels better now. Quote, until at last, when her reply was ended, he found himself altogether unconsciously clasping her to his bosom, whilst the ruby rims which so recently proclaimed accusations and innocence met with unearthly sweetness. They kiss.
Oh, that was kissing.
Yeah, the ruby rims, you know, lips.
I guess so. I had never thought of lips as ruby rims before.
Well, this author did.
Gotcha.
Later, after another perceived infraction, they have another conversation, quote, conversation, that lasts about 16 paragraphs.
Good God. You're not going to read that, are you?
I thought that was the one because I'd talked about it last week, and it lasts for fucking ever.
Yeah, you asked me if, like, what I thought about long quotes, and I was like, legally it's fine since it's open domain, and you were like, no, this is long and you're gonna die of boredom.
But yeah, pretty much what happens, John machine guns a bunch of shit all at once that he has feelings about, and Irene, in the same fashion, machine gun replies to him. So I keep wondering, like, why it's written like this, and why, like, everything that John has to say to Irene is, like, belted out one thing after another, after another, after another, and then she replies in a series back to him.
Wow.
But I think I figured out why, because it's definitely not how people talk, but it is how people write letters.
You're right. Oh, yeah.
So this lady didn't know how to write out a conversational dialogue, but she did know how letters are written, which today is the equivalent of writing down your...
writing a blog post and sending it to someone, and they write a blog post and send it back.
Yeah, that's much better than what I was going to say, because I was just going to say Facebook Messenger messages.
No, because those are short and, like...
Yeah, like how actual dialogue is.
Yeah. And that's funny, because I had pen pals when I was a kid, and that's exactly right. You would, how are you? Answer questions from previous letter. Here's me, my current life, questions about how you're doing that you will get in the future, and then reply in the future.
But I do have that quote ready. If you want me to read it, it goes for a while. Like, at one point it starts being funny. It just keeps getting funnier.
You're the one who gets to edit this, so it's up to you. You always rag on me about how long my episodes are, so if you want to do it, go ahead.
This one should be fairly short, but we'll start with just John's side.
Okay.
So this is when John is confronting Irene again because she talked to her tutor boyfriend again, and he doesn't like that. Big quote. Irene, if I may use such familiarity, I have summoned you hither. This is after they've already married.
Oh, she was just having a conversation with her tutor, and he's pissed because they're married, and how dare she? Okay.
Irene, if I may use such familiarity, I have summoned you hither. It may be to undergo a stricter examination than your present condition probably permits. She's also pregnant, forgot that.
Okay.
But knowing as you should, my life must be miserable under this growing cloud of unfathomed dislike. I became resolved to end, if within my power, such contentious and unladylike conduct as that practiced by you towards me of late. It is now quite 6 months, yea, weary months, since I shielded you from penury and insult, which you were bound to follow, as well as your much-loved protectors, who sheltered you from the pangs of penniless orphanage. And during these 6 months, which I naturally should have been the pet period of nuptial harmony, it has proved the hideous period of howling dislike. I, as you see, am tinged with slightly snowy tufts, the result of stifled sorrow and care concerning you alone, and on the memorable day of alliance, as you are well aware. Are you good? Do you need me to stop?
He's pissed because he thought she would be all lovey-dovey and on top of him, and she's just not. And he's like, how dare you be cold and indifferent to me?
Yeah, but it just keeps fucking going.
Go ahead.
All right. I, as you see, am tinged with slightly snowy tufts. No, wait, I already read that part. There dwelt then, just 6 months this day, no trace of sorrow or smothered woe, no variety of color where it is, and shall be so long as I exist. No furrows of grief could then be traced upon my visage, but alas, now I feel so changed, and why? Because I have dastardly and doggedly been made a tool of treason in the hands of the traitorous and unworthy. I was enticed to believe that an angel was always hovering around my footsteps, when moodily engaged in resolving to acquaint you of my great love, and undying desire to place you upon the highest pinnacle possible of praise and purity within the power of my bestow. I was led to believe that your unbounded joy and happiness were never such a par as when sharing them with me. Was I falsely informed of your ways and worth? Was I duped to ascend the ladder of liberty, the hill of harmony, and the tree of triumph, and the rock of regard? And when wildly manifesting my act of ascension, was I to be informed of treading still in the valley of defeat? So a lot of X of Y's. Am I, who, for nearly 40 years, was idolized by a mother of untainted and great Christian bearing, to be treated now like a slave? Why and for what am I thus dealt with?
He wants a mummy.
Do you think it's over?
No. I can see how this is like English gentleman incel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Make me a sandwich.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's pushed into this marriage she didn't want. So she is not even inclined to give him the behavior and adoration he wants.
Yeah.
He's just a bastard, my God.
Yeah, he really sucks.
What does she reply with, though?
She basically replies with, I'm not the cause for your white hairs. I've done nothing wrong. You're being crazy. She basically just gaslights him. She's like, all of these things are imagined slights, and I'm being normal. You're being weird.
It's quite possible he had very unrealistic expectations as well. Especially if he's saying, well, my mom took care of me for these 40 years. Now I have to do shit.
Pretty much. But yeah, that wasn't even I had not finished his end of the quote.
Right.
Because I got bored. Much less her reply to it, because my God, it goes longer than even his did.
Okay. I mean, even if you got this in a letter, it would be so hard to read and parse out what they're saying.
Yeah. So that's the biggest line of dialogue in the entire book.
Gotcha.
And the rest of it, there really isn't any dialogue.
So is this kind of the core of the conflict in the story?
No.
No?
The core conflict of the story is that Irene is a bad person.
Is she really, though?
According to this book.
I don't know.
In my opinion, no.
I don't believe them yet.
Yeah. So, at this part of the book, I almost went insane during this chapter because I listened to an audiobook on YouTube, and it's a LibriVox recording. So they had a bunch of different narrators narrating.
Oh, okay.
And I think one of them was AI, but only one out of like the 10 narrators they had. So I don't really judge them much for it. But the AI voice was so fucking funny.
Oh,
because
I was imagining it would be really hard to follow these sentences with an AI.
No, it is.
Oh, okay.
But the delivery was funny. Because the information that's being given, really dry and boring. But the delivery and the voice, hilarious. Because this AI voice is delivering in news reporter cadence.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm going to see if I can do it.
Okay.
Quote, Lady Dunfern began now to stare her position fully in the face. On this interview, she thought, largely depended her future welfare, if viewed properly. It was just 2 chapters reading like that.
Wow.
At the end of the sentence, it would just be like, properly, and just slow like way down.
That's crazy.
I had to stop, and I couldn't get like most of the information out of those chapters because the voice was so funny, and the material was actually very boring.
Right.
And I couldn't pay attention, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get married. Irene scandalizes her mother and everyone by wearing a green dress instead of a white dress. So
to her wedding?
To her wedding, yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Shortly after, she becomes pregnant and has a son. After the birth, she takes a fever and is delirious for some time. And she starts talking aloud about her affair and reveals the location of her other ring and some of her lover Oscar's, which is the tutor, correspondence.
Oh, no.
John finds all these items and sees the date of the letter was during their marriage.
Oh, no.
So he knows she's been cheating. His response is to, well, I'm not going to tell you yet. What would you do if you were a man in the 1890s and you just found out your wife was cheating on you after she's become very sick after giving birth?
Right. I would challenge Oscar to a duel, and then I would send her away to an insane asylum.
Okay. I could see that.
I mean, that he could just ignore it. That is an option he has.
He doesn't do that either.
No, I wouldn't expect him to.
What you said isn't what a good person would do.
No, he's not a good person.
Right. But
he's an English gentleman.
I'm saying that because, yeah, I can see that, but I didn't want... I'm afraid I was like, oh, yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, no. Those are not good things to do.
Right.
Those are things he would do.
Right.
Who I firmly have in the bad guy box right now.
Right. But what he actually does, in my opinion, is actually worse.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So his response to all this information is to lock her in a room for the rest of either her life or his.
Okay, yep. Mm-hmm. That is the other thing they would do.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Does he get a nursemaid for the baby? Or does he let her keep the
kid
baby?
is raised by the staff.
Oh, poor,
Yeah.
God, poor Irene.
Yeah, because John's not going to do it. He's a captain of industry. He's not going to raise this kid.
Well, I mean, this is a baby and he's punishing her.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if he took the baby away from her.
He does take the baby away
bastard.
from her. But the story is also clear that this is actually like a relief for her because, one, she doesn't care about this baby.
Oh, I guess because it's John's.
As told by the story.
Right.
But also, she doesn't have to pretend to like John anymore.
True that.
Yeah.
That is true.
So she's relieved to be imprisoned in this mansion. So she spends 2 years in this room.
Oh my God.
Until she manages to sneak a message to her old housemaid, who, in conjunction with Oscar, managed to spring Irene. So when I tell you this section is painful, we, flowery language our way through an escape.
Oh,
through a prison break.
Oh my God. Oh, no.
We can't even put the key in the door to Irene's room without drawing it out like it's Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting on Mustafar.
Oh, no.
Quote, reaching the door of danger and bloodthirsty revenge. The door of danger and bloodthirsty revenge. This door is just venomous with how vengeful it is.
Oh my goodness.
She, with the caution of a murderess, thrust with great and exceptional care the key into its much-used opening, and heroically succeeded in gaining admittance. Can you imagine how fucking exhausting this entire section would be of just sentences like that? Like every action, her getting the message out to her housemaid and her housemaid arranging all of this stuff in order to escape. God, it's fucking terrible.
I don't know if we've done a book quite like this before.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything else that's been this overwritten.
Mm-hmm. I can't think of anything.
I know we've had a couple that were overwritten, but not to this extent.
Not to this degree.
Oh my God.
No. This book is what a dumb person who has not read Jane Austen thinks Jane Austen is.
Yeah, it's also like the style of the time cranked up to 11.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it got panned, it sounds like. So other people also were like, hey, you kind of overwritten.
Even back then in the 1890s, where only 10% of people could read, they were just like, yeah, this sucks.
Yep. Do you know who climbs these flowery hills and offers mattresses of deep comfort, and who have pillows full of wool and feathers? Do you know who is purple and deep and soft and loving?
Is it the purple mattress of despair and unwielded hate for a husband who hath not love, but only fortuneless despisal?
How did I do? How many words did I manage to get purple mattress into?
Yes.
Not as bad.
I didn't pay attention to it when this book was doing it most of the time. I certainly didn't pay attention when you do it. Ads.
In a world where the Holy Bible is actually a streaming television show with a gigantic special effects budget, the Wrath of Pod podcast reviews every episode.
I think it is really brave to be doing an origin story I think I may have heard him say abracadabra, which I thought was a little on the nose.
God created Adam and shoves his hand into his chest like Temple of Doom and yanks this rib out. I'm like, what the fuck?
I think there was better chemistry between Eve and the snake.
Ooh.
Just gonna say that.
One of the men is actually named Lot.
His parents were naming him the comedic potential, so that people are like, he's a lot. Yeah, I know he's a lot, but how is he at the moment? He's a lot.
You should meet his brother, a handful. And then they chop the foreskins off of everybody's penis.
Join these scripture script doctors as they discuss this fictional hit series. Listen to Wrath of Pod, wherever you get your podcasts.
And we're back from deep despair and shadows dark, of dreams and thoughts that are awash in gray, sorrow and sadness and mist on the mountains.
Fuck, we took a nap. God. So, where was I before I spilled water on the table? And
I had to go grab
we pivoted an ad.
Get towels. She is escaping, and it is taking 10 goddamn hours because we have to add flowery language to every single movement she does.
Okay. So, the writing in this book is absolute torture. Using this much flowery descriptive language for this story is like eating an almond joy. Except the chocolate shell is 8 inches thick, and instead of coconut, it's a fermented quail egg. Is what this story is.
And we torture ourselves for you, dear listener. This is how much we love you. He eats a 8-inch thick almond joy full of fermented quail eggs.
I put 8-inch things in my mouth for you. So, gonna drive a train through the rest of this.
Okay.
So Irene and Oscar sell their cottage after she breaks out of her prison, which also, sidebar, when John finds out, we get a little line that, oh, it's a shame she decided to escape now. I was just about to let her out.
Sure you were, bud.
Yeah.
Sure you were.
Fuck this guy. You had her in there for 2 years.
Yeah. She was a prisoner for 2 years.
And you're just like, oh, I was about to let her out because it was the holidays.
Is he relieved because he got the child he wants?
No, he's despairing for the rest of his life.
Wait, is their kid a boy or a girl?
It's a boy.
Okay, so he did get his heir that he wanted.
Which is the important thing,
yeah,
really.
that was what he needed. Mm-hmm. He didn't need a wife, he just needed an incubator.
But we'll get back to how sad John is.
Oh, boo-hoo-hoo.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, Irene and Oscar sell their cottage to finance a new life in New York. So they leave. Now there is a domino effect of bullshit that is all blamed on Irene. 1. All the stress of being cheated on and imprisoning his wife affects John's health terribly.
Oh, poor baby.
And what a shame, he was about to let her out and forgive her. So sad. 2. John fires 2 of the staff because they allowed his wife to escape.
Oh my god.
Because the housemaid left a drawer unlocked where she had the key to Irene's room that another maid broke into and stole the key. Mm-hmm. And he also fires one of the guards that just left his keys out somewhere to all of the other doors they would have had to go through.
Somewhat careless that one moment.
Right, because they're house staff. They're not prison guards.
Yeah.
Which I guess for like 2 years they had been prison guards. So, but he's just like, you're so incompetent. I can't possibly have you on my staff anymore, even though I'm not keeping prisoners anymore.
Yeah. He has to take his anger out on someone.
Right, and he can't do it on his wife. She's in New York.
She's gone.
And yeah, terrible that Irene forced him to do that. Mm-hmm. 3. The maid just laments that she lost her job and lives the rest of her life being poor.
Yeah,
and that's her horrible fate. Mm-hmm. The guard is so lost without his job that he dies of apoplexy.
Oh my goodness.
Do you know what apoplexy is?
Isn't it a heart attack? I know it's supposed to be like an excited seizure kind of thing, and it's associated with emotions, but it was used and it actually meant oftentimes something like a heart attack.
The way I've always heard it, apoplexy, or if someone is apoplectic, they've just like kind of went off the deep end, sort of. The literal definition of apoplectic is overcome with anger, extremely indignant.
I mean, I've heard apoplectic with anger
Yeah.
as a phrase. Dying of apoplexy was something that would just be, oh, they were in an emotionally very bad place and they dropped dead.
Yeah.
And it often was used as a catch-all for heart attack or a seizure or whatever.
Okay.
It would often be like a sudden death.
Yeah. I just thought that hearing someone died of apoplexy was very funny to me. John hears about this death, which causes his health to get worse. And this is all Irene's fault.
Couldn't be the lead in the food or, health care of the 1890s.
Those
must
the
be his wife's
strong,
fault.
the strong English aristocrat genes.
Yeah.
But also, John firing this guard is Irene's fault, I guess.
Yeah. Yep.
Clearly. I feel like this is something that similar to something that you have said in a previous episode about kids coming up with like dramatic storytelling and sending it to like the nth degree. Like, this man is so overcome with the loss of his job that he dies of it.
Right.
Which causes John to also start dying of the other man dying.
Right.
Everyone's dying, and it's Irene's fault.
Yep.
John recovers and time passes. His son ages and goes off to college, which, again, John's health he's such a frail soul that his son moves away, and he's so kind-hearted that this hurts him so badly.
He's also like almost 60 at this point.
Yeah.
He's not young.
No.
He married at the age of 40.
Yeah.
So she's just gone. She just stays gone, and we stay on his.
We come back to
narrative?
her.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just getting his part of the story out of the way.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. He's so sad his son is gone, and he's still very sad
He
that
has returned
Irene...
to his status that he was at the beginning of the book.
Basically.
He is now alone in his home, in his study, with no one there to love him.
But he's so sad that his wife didn't love him 15 years ago, and he's so sad that his son is not in his house. And this is just so hard on him because he's so poor.
Poor him.
Also, the guy who imprisoned his wife in his house. This book, like, sucks John's dick, like, so hard that this has to be the author's husband stand-in for it to make any sense. John is the blameless martyr, a saintly Christian, a captain of industry, the perfect father that doesn't actually raise his son because the staff does.
Yep.
So again, John's health takes a hit when he receives news that Irene was married in America now, which apparently took like 10 years to get to him.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Also, 10 years have passed. Of course she got... Like, why are you surprised by
She
this?
ran away with her tutor.
Yeah.
Of course she married him.
Like, I don't know. Also,
This
you
is
put
all
her in
just
prison for
happening-
2 years.
This is all just happening to him. These are all events meant to hurt his feelings.
Yes. And ultimately cause his death.
Ah, yes.
So, yeah, he gets sick from all this information over the past 15 years, just overbearing his heart. Also, he's dying of just being a noble Englishman. The poor things are just so inbred. They just die from hurt feelings. So, backing it up a bit, we catch up with Irene, who has just moved to New York and gotten married. As soon as she's set free and living with Oscar, who is very poor, this is actually before they go to New York, and they're living in their little secret cottage, she thinks to herself that at least while she was in prison, she was at least comfortable. Because she's never been poor before, and there's not all that much food in the house.
I thought she was poor as a child.
As a child.
And adopted from an orphanage.
I guess she forgot what it was like
This
before.
is exactly what a man who imprisoned his wife would imagine she would say on escape.
Uh-huh.
God damn it.
It's like, oh, this was actually better when I was in prison, actually, and not allowed to leave a room for 2 years. God. At least I was fed.
Oh my God. Whereas now she gets to be with a man she actually loves.
Yeah.
And be free.
And yeah. So yeah, all this choice and autonomy isn't all it was cracked up to be. So yeah, they sell their house, go to America. Irene and Oscar get married, planning to retire on the £1,000 that they got from selling their house and buying a new one in America.
Okay, yeah.
But, you know...
I mean, if he's still tutoring and they're each working little side jobs, they could possibly... Not. I don't know what the pound to dollar would have been, but, like, to run a household around that time, I think you needed £500 a year to run a full household with multiple staff.
I think this is commentary. I don't think the house is, like, staffed or anything. There's never any, like, staff brought up or anything.
No, but I'm just trying to think of, like, would that be realistic? I don't, like, have the money.
Well, in the story, it's not realistic either.
Oh.
Yeah, because they blow through their money.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
They imagine that $100,000 could make them live and retire. Yeah. And we would look at somebody and say, $100,000 is nothing.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I feel like it's kind of commentary on, these stupid poor people. They don't know how money do.
She's unrealistic and having wild dreams because he always managed the money.
So, yeah, they totally run out of money. And only then does Oscar get a job.
Okay.
He also becomes an alcoholic, which causes him to lose the job he just got.
Damn.
Which causes him to beat the shit out of Irene.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yep. She runs away to a church. The next day, Oscar, distraught that he beat his wife, as he should be, does the right thing and drowns himself in a nearby lake.
Oh my God!
Nth degree. We got to turn it up to 11.
Christ! So we're still punishing her for running away.
The story is,
The story is punishing her.
Yeah, pretty much.
Look at this stupid person thinking she could live off the money from selling his property. Look at this stupid woman running away with this man who beat her and then drowned himself.
Yep.
Good Lord.
Yep.
This book is so mean.
Yeah, no, it's horrible to Irene.
Oh my God.
And it doesn't get any better. It actually gets worse.
Oh no.
But before Oscar drowned himself in a lake, he wrote a note that the police found in his pocket. Or, no, it wasn't in his pocket. It was on his folded clothes on the bank of the lake. And on the note, it says that she should return to John, who loved her so powerfully. You know how when you steal someone's wife and you're just like, oh yeah, you should go back to your husband who loved you more than me.
Well, I rescued you from prison at his home.
Yeah. Also, he did rescue her from being imprisoned by that husband who loved her so much, apparently.
This is like gaslighting the book.
It sure is. But she does it.
Wait, what? She goes back?
She goes back to England.
Oh,
Gets on the same boat that they left on and goes back.
No, Irene, don't do it. No.
Meanwhile, John is on his deathbed.
Wait, she can get back. Be back with him. He can die, and she can get all his money.
But potentially at this point, yeah.
Okay.
Theoretically, this could happen.
This could happen.
This could happen. It might happen for you.
I can freeze time. Go back in time.
You can live in this moment.
Tell this author to say, please, make her just go back home. He dies, and she gets his money and lives happily ever after.
Yeah.
That's the use of the time machine I will use. Yes.
That'd be good.
It doesn't happen that way, does it?
So John is on his deathbed, his health failing at the age of 53.
Oh, so his son went to college at 10?
15. Because the baby was born, 2 years in prison. Then 10 years pass.
Okay.
Then 2 years more pass after Irene runs out of money.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I think I missed mentioning that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So they live in like squalor for like 2 years, and then Oscar beats the shit out of her, and then he kills himself.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, he's dying of hurt feelings at 53, and has been rendered mute for like 5 minutes. then his son Hugh returns and his speech just comes back. So I don't know why the story was just like, oh, he's mute, but now he's better for a little bit. And now he can talk to his son.
The love of his son restores him.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's dying of sadness and loneliness.
So John tells the truth about Irene. So apparently he's been lying to Hugh his entire life about his mother.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Which is ironic because the story makes a huge deal about Irene's lying later. But we ignore John's.
Right.
But yeah, lied to him his whole life and told him that Irene was dead.
Oh.
He warns him never to trust her, house her, or listen to his mother, and then promptly dies.
Oh.
Now Hugh is the owner of Dunfern Mansion. Mm-hmm. Irene comes back and makes it to John's funeral, where she reads a poem. I'm going to read you this entire poem.
Okay. Yep. I'm here for it.
1. The hand of death hath once more brought the lifeless body here to lie, until aroused with angel's voice, which calls it forth no more to die. 2. This man of health and honest mind had troubles great to bear whilst here, which cut him off in manhood's bloom, to where there's neither frown nor tear. 3. His life was lined with works of good for all who sought his affluent aid. His lifelong acts of charity are sure to never pass unpaid. 4. Sir John Dunfern, whose noble name is heard to echo far and wide. This is the man who imprisoned her, and she wrote this poem about him.
So is this the lie? Is she trying to get in nice?
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, just saying a bunch of nice shit about him after he's dead.
Yeah.
And she's just trying to get back in the good graces of the household because she is technically still married to her first husband.
Yes.
And her second marriage didn't really count.
Right. He didn't divorce her, see. She ran away, but he never divorced her.
Mm-hmm. So that's when she sees her son, Hugh. Quote, "Mighty heavens," exclaimed Sir Hugh Dunfern, "are you the vagrant who ruined the very existence of him whom you now profess to have loved? You, the wretch of wicked and wilful treachery, and formerly the wife of him, before whose very bones you falsely kneel. Are you the confirmed traitoress of the trust reposed in him by my late lamented dearest and most noble of fathers? Are you aware about the hypocrisy you manifested once has been handed down to me as an heirloom of polluted possession and stored within this breast of mine, an indelible stain for life, or I might say during your known and hated existence? False woman, wicked wife, detested mother, bereft widow." So yeah, he's saying,
he hates her guts.
Yeah, I hate your guts. You've only done bad to me. My father only did good things for me.
Yep.
He goes on for like a while, but he banishes her and tells her to never return. She then wanders around trying to find a place to stay. She eventually, that night, lays against the wall of her childhood home and dies before the next morning.
Yeah, fucking awful. Yeah. Yep.
And this is what is said of her. "She who might have swayed society's circles with the scepter of nobleness. She who might still have shared in the greatness of her position and defied the crooked stream of poverty, in which she so long sailed, had she only been, first of all, true to self, then the honorable name of Sir John Dunfern. If she had just been nice to her husband, none of this would have happened."
Right.
Would have maintained its standard of pure and noble distinction, without being spotted here and there, without heathenish remarks inflicted by a sarcastic public on the administerer of proper punishment, then the dignified knight of proud and upright ancestry would have been spared the pains of incessant insult, the mockery of equals, the haunted diseases of mental trials, the erring eye of harshness, the throbbing twitch of constant criticism. So a lot more X of Y's.
So this is a cautionary tale. If you do not suck it up and adore the husband you're stuck with, you will end up homeless, penniless, and dead.
Uh-huh.
And your son will hate you.
Yep. So all of this happened because Irene was a terrible liar, a liar so terrible that everyone died. Mm-hmm. If there is a moral, it's that if you're a woman and get forced into a marriage, escape your husband and lie, you deserve to be cast out and forgotten to time. But if you're a rich man, marry someone less than half your age, imprison them, and also lie to your son for his entire life, you deserve to have praise heaped upon you and be memorialized after you die.
I find it so interesting that this book was a gift to a husband.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's semi-autobiographical because I really doubt any of that stuff happened in the author's life.
Yeah.
This does feel like it's pulling from several novels of the era.
Could be.
But I'm kind of drawing a blank on the names of the books.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Pride and Prejudice had already existed for like 80 years when this was written.
Well, there's also the Bronte sisters,
Mm-hmm.
and there's other novels that dealt with these class issues, marriage issues, some of this stuff. But this is centering the husband, and he's the good guy, she's the bad guy,
Mm-hmm.
and she gets what's coming for her.
Yeah. Somehow a woman writing a less feminist prose-covered tale after Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, that's just bleak, man.
Yeah, it's really bleak.
Poor Irene.
So, even in the author's day, Amanda got a lot of criticism. Mm-hmm. A man named Barry Payne said this, quote, "The book has not mused. It began by doing that, then as its enormities went on, getting more and more enormous in every line, the book seemed something titanic, gigantic, awe-inspiring. The world was full of Irene Iddesleigh by Mrs. Amanda McKittrick Ross, and I shrank before it in tears and in terror." And Amanda took that personally. She replies, "This so-called Barry Payne, criticizing a work the depth of which fails to reach the solving power of his borrowed and, he'd have you believe, varied talent." So she's just like, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. This is too deep for him. He only knows stuff he learned in school, stuff he borrowed.
Yep.
So, yeah, she was a bitch.
Yeah.
Could not take criticism. Could not appreciate the unbridled power of prose and alliteration that she was capable of.
Do you have what Mark Twain wrote about it?
I don't. I couldn't. I can't remember if it didn't say or it just wasn't all that interesting to me, but he didn't like it either.
Gotcha.
I do have a favorite line, purely because it's very, very silly. Mm-hmm. Quote, "Ordering his will to be produced, demanded there and then that the pen of persuasion be dipped into the ink of revenge and spread thickly along the paragraph of blood-related charity to blank the intolerable words that referred to the woman he was now convinced, beyond doubt, had braved the bridge of bigamy."
Wow.
It's just funny. Just everything is a something of something.
Just imagining this office and every single thing has a label.
I want the ink of revenge.
Yes, I want the ink of revenge.
So that I can put it on my notebook of
criticism. I would like the pen of wit.
In a world where Pride and Prejudice had already existed for 80 years, with immense flowery language and infinitely subtle storytelling, I feel like Irene Iddesleigh is the whisper of a ghost of the corpse of a woman who was taught how to literally read, but was never taught how to ingest the information, and saw the words sounding pretty and smart, and thought that's all there was to it. And I can do one of those. I can do flowery words, and that's all I need to do.
Yeah, she picked up the flowery language. But, I mean, she does have messaging in this, though.
Yeah, it's just bad messaging.
It's really bad messaging, but she does have an underlying story where some pretty gross shit happens, too. Mm-hmm. So it's bad writing and bad messaging.
Yeah, which it was 1897, so the standards were just different at the time, but I feel like the fact that back then everyone hated it and it's just continuously been hated up until now.
Yeah.
Enough so that someone will comment this story on a YouTube video.
Right.
So it's still known well enough to be mentioned.
Right.
For over 125 years.
Yeah, I had never heard of this book or this author.
Yeah, I hadn't either. So, yeah, thanks to Nina Sir. I really appreciate it. This was a fun one.
Oh my God.
But I give it a D purely because it's unique in how bad it is.
This is uniquely bad.
Yeah.
This is... I'm going to give it an F. I'm going to say bad messaging, bad writing, bad author. Yeah. It just fails.
Yeah, I vibe with that. I could definitely see it being an F, but...
Going back to the first chapter, the house now belongs to her son. Is this supposed to be around the time of the funeral?
That's the only place that it could possibly fit.
Right.
I guess because she's on the beach of Sad or something, and Hugh is the owner, but Irene is presumably still alive, that's a very narrow window.
That is like one night.
Yeah.
One evening.
So I don't know when that first chapter would have. It's like just a snapshot of that moment, because all it's doing is like saying that, I don't know, Irene is wanting sympathy, not deserving of sympathy. I don't think the story thinks she deserves it. But other than that, we're just describing the mansion.
Right.
And mentioning that who Hugh's parents were.
I think it is probably the evening after the funeral. She's been thrown out by her son. She has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And she is she's just despondent.
Yeah.
That's the only place in the whole story that it fits.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
What a weird way of setting up the story. And also telling us to give her she's asking for sympathy in the first chapter. And then none is given to her in the entire book.
Right. Yeah, it's very strange.
I should write a novel for my husband for our 15th anniversary.
I'm sure Jay would appreciate that.
I could write a bad book and then we could do it.
Ah, boy.
Oh my goodness. Such an odd gift and such an odd... her motivation seems... obviously we are supposed to sympathize with the husband.
Yeah, it's done nothing is done more than flattering the husband character in the story, and the fact that it's being written for the author's husband.
Right.
And I can't...
So obviously this was meant to please him. She knew what kind of story he would want.
Yeah.
I guess if you were supposed to write a Jane Austen novel for an incel, and maybe her husband was an incel, this is what you would get.
Yeah, I guess.
Because... obviously, other people, the broader world, didn't like it. And was not the intended audience.
Right. That's a weirdly specific order, though.
I know.
I want Jane Austen, but for me, a man who doesn't like women.
Yes. And it's right and proper, I lock up my wife. And right and proper, I write her out of the will. And my son should kick her out, so she should die.
Oh, that was another point. He only wrote her out of the will when he heard that she got married.
Oh.
And that was just like another nail in his coffin of being sad to death. So,
which kind of is like this incel thing of, if I don't fuck, I will die. I'm gonna die old and lonely. Oh.
Yeah.
I do kind of like how we had the beginning, he's alone in his study, and at the end, he's alone in his study. You know, I kind of appreciate we have this circle of his life, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know that it was done on purpose, though.
I don't think it was done on purpose.
Well, he doesn't even die alone, because he dies while his son is in the room with him.
Well, at the very end, he's dying and he's lonely again.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It definitely, to me, didn't feel like it was on purpose.
Right.
I feel like it was incidental.
Very interesting. Well, if you would like the bad book that you read and hated read on here and told all about it, send it to us in our email, BiblioWrecks@gmail.com, BiblioWrecks Go to our YouTube channel. It's also BiblioWrecks. You can watch videos. It doesn't have video in the background. It's just the picture of the story, but you can leave comments and we'll see them and reply. Let us know what you thought. Give us your most flowery language in a review on Apple.
Yes, give us your favorite something of something, because
Yes.
I really enjoy those.
Yes.
They're very funny to me.
That was very funny.
And if your wife in any way makes you angry, fucking lock her up in a room forever. And then when she gets out, just be like, oh, I was about to let you out, actually. So.
And, fire the servants so that they die too.
Right. Let them die of boredom.
Yep.
And not having a jobness, and then having apoplexy and dying.
Bye.
Bye.